Hello and welcome to the Ilene Silverman Show. I'm your host Ilene, and on this week's program, our guests discuss the upcoming 10th annual Run Amuck with the Duck 5K to raise funds for the Bonnie J. Addario Lung Cancer Foundation, and lung cancer survivor Karen Gorenberg shares her story. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us for our program. I'm very pleased to introduce my guest, Karen Gorenberg, 12-year lung cancer survivor and founder of Run Amuck with the Duck 5K walk run to benefit the Bonnie J. Addario Lung Cancer Foundation. And Karen, it is really an honor to have you here.
Well, it is my pleasure.
Thank you.
It really is.
We've been friends for a long time, and I've always wanted you to be part of the Ilene Silverman Show, and now here it is, the 10th annual Run Amuck with the Duck coming up. So first, congratulations. That's quite a milestone.
It's a long time. You're right. I'm surprised to find myself to still be here. I am very fortunate.
Yes, you are. And tell us, well, before we talk about your story, tell us about Run Amuck with the Duck so we know when we're supposed to show up and where. Give us some specifics about it.
Run Amuck with the Duck will be held on Saturday, March 2nd.
There's our duck.
At there's our duck at North Florida Regional Medical Center. It begins at 9. Registration is at 8. Or you can pre-register on our site. Go to lungcancerfoundation.org, and you can look up Run Amuck with the Duck, and it will direct you. You can join my team. Right. You can create your own team. Or if you're just inspired, just give us money, because we're looking for donations. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
But you can walk, you can run, you can jog, you can just cheer everybody on.
Yes.
And then afterwards you have activities. And
we have prizes. A celebration, and we have prizes for the runners, those who care to run. I am not a runner.
That's okay.
But we do have
walking
runners
with you.
And we do have snacks, and we just have a good time. We have music playing. It's around the very scenic duck pond, and that's just coincidence that it's around the duck pond, because this is our duck.
Yes,
this is Crackers the duck.
A special meaning in your life.
And that's what it's named for, Run Amuck with the duck. There he is.
And so go back and share your story, as you've done so many times before, but December
12th, 2006.
The day your life changed.
Absolutely. It was a beautiful sunny day here in lovely Gainesville, and I was going for my mammogram, a solid citizen. My husband is a GYN, and I just grabbed one of our referral slips for a chest film. I just hadn't had a chest x-ray in a while. I thought, I'm going, why not? Yeah. And had my mammogram, had my chest x-ray. Took the longest time for the radiologist to come back in and see me. I waited and waited, and the more I waited, the more convinced I was that there was a breast problem. Because that's what women just assume.
Right, the moment someone says,
yes,
you know, they have cancer, woman, you think breast.
And she came in and she said the reason it took so long is she had gone back and pulled my previous chest film for a number of years before. There was a spot on my lung. And I was dumbfounded. And so we went through a lot of machinations. We were just going on vacation. I said, don't tell anybody. The whole family, we're going traveling. Do not say anything. And I'm going to be going on Medicare in March. This was December. I'll wait till March. She said, no, you will not wait until March. You cannot wait. So we went on vacation. We came back. I had a CT scan. It was suspicious. I had a biopsy. It said adenocarcinoma with bronchoalveolar features. And we went to New York. We got a second opinion. We were very hopeful. All the kids came. I have an incredible supportive family group.
As your sister says, we are, as your daughter, excuse me, says,
we are six.
We're six.
And all six were there. And this doctor was very upbeat, and he thought there was a good chance that surgery would just take care of this. And he had actually trained the doctor who was here in Gainesville who did my surgery. And they went in and took out not just one lobe of lung, but two. They took out my right upper and mid lobes of lung, but the cancer had actually traveled across to my left side. That's considered metastatic because it went adventuring, and it was on my mediastinum. So from feeling terrific and wonderful, I ended up with stage 4 lung cancer with a very dismal prognosis at that time.
Well, and you mentioned Dr. Gorenberg, Richard Gorenberg, your husband, long time gynecologist here, well known, well respected. He was my doctor. I went into the office. They told me about you, Karen, developing lung cancer. I remember being dumbfounded, and I think you really are the first woman that I knew of who, or I just didn't know anyone with lung cancer at that point.
Well,
anyone.
You thought you didn't.
But I did.
But basically,
I just didn't realize
you do. You just don't know them.
Exactly.
And that's
and
really,
that's even a little more frightening.
Yeah. Well, part of it is the diagnosis often comes quite late. As in mine, I had no symptoms. I didn't have a cough. I didn't have anything. Well. I felt terrific. So, but that's unusual. More commonly, people will have a sign or a symptom, a cough, something. But if they're non-smokers, brains just don't go there.
Right.
Doctors' brains. And I met a very wonderful woman who's involved with the Adario Foundation, and she said to me, "First proof that it's not lung cancer." And I thought, I really like that. I have come to really respect that, because I have met so many people now, so many young people, so many never smokers, and they're gone. And they were lung cancer patients who people just didn't pick up on, you know.
Karen, we have a lot more to discuss. We're going to take a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're back talking about the Run Amuck with the Duck with Karen Gorenberg, and I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Allison Groh, radiation oncologist. And Allison, Dr. Groh, it's wonderful to have you join us. I know you have a close relationship with Karen, and we appreciate the knowledge you're bringing to our conversation also. And to go back, Karen, how did you, at this point, find Bonnie J. Adario and the Lung Cancer Foundation she started?
Okay. Well, when I was first diagnosed,
yes,
everything I saw on the internet was ghastly. It basically said, you have this and you're dead, you know. And I told my kids, I'm not looking anymore. It's so depressing. But Jamie, one of my four, was this driven researcher, and she looked high and low, and she wanted the top 10 lung cancer people in the United States, and the world, Australia, she didn't care where. And she found people, and she found the Adario Foundation. She found Bonnie and got in touch with them. They invited me to come out as a survivor guest to their gala in November of 2009.
Right.
I went out there, I met them. This was a big to-do, big fundraiser for them. And they were just getting ready to launch these 5K walk runs to spread the word. And I got back on the plane by myself, and I thought, I wonder if I could do one in Gainesville, Florida. And I contacted them and said, how do you feel? And they said, go for it, go for it. So I was left totally on my own to do whatever I wanted. I went to see Lucio Gordon. I said, will you be my man? I need an event chair.
Right.
He said, absolutely. And I designed that course around my doctors at North Florida Regional Hospital. So it goes past the doctor's offices of the people who took care of me.
Significant.
And, well, it was to me.
Yes,
but so we did our first one in 2010.
And you've continued to go back to the gala.
Every year.
Yes, in November 2018, you were honored.
I was.
Yes, and there's a beautiful video with you, your family, quite meaningful.
Well, it was wonderful, and they made a big deal of the fact that our event here in little old Gainesville, Florida, has raised over $560,000.
Yes.
Which still surprises me.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, so it's very exciting, and it goes to them. They are a 501c3, they're a nonprofit, and a 4-star Charity Navigator foundation, which means just about everything they raise goes to research and patient support, and I'm very proud of that.
Yes, because you know it counts.
Absolutely.
Allison, research right there, it counts.
Yeah.
Share knowledge with us, help us understand.
Yes, I will. So I moved here in 2011, so I am thrilled and actually amazed that I'm just about to participate with you in my 8th Run Amuck with the Duck. I can't believe it's been that many. But I definitely have some thoughts about the value of the Adario Foundation. It's really amazing. So, you know, most people think lung cancer and they think smoking. And a lot of lung cancers are smoking related, but we now know that 22% of lung cancers in women are non-smoking related. And it's probably a different disease. And so the Adario Foundation wants to help with all kinds of lung cancer. And just to put this in perspective a little bit, every year, let's see, I think this year, or last year, let's say 2018, there are about 240,000 cases of lung cancer diagnosed. And of those folks, last year, 150,000 died of lung cancer. So let's divide that in half for women. Okay, so let's say that's 120,000 new diagnoses of lung cancer and 75,000 deaths. And now let's compare that to breast cancer. So about 260,000 new cases of breast cancer last year and only 40,000 deaths. And the reason for that is we have a good screen for breast cancer.
Right.
We have mammography, so we don't prevent breast cancer with mammography, but we prevent people from dying of breast cancer because we find it
earlier.
So now we have CT screening for lung cancer, but that only works for the population of people who meet certain criteria that Medicare sets. You have to be a certain age, you have to have a certain smoking history, et cetera, and then you can have CT screening.
I see.
So what about all the other people that never smoked? What are we going to do about them?
Right.
So the Dario Foundation is helping with those people, and they're providing information to those people. And if I can just throw in a little bit about Bonnie's story.
Yes.
Bonnie's alive today because she was told initially, okay, you have a really bad lung cancer, you need to have chemo and radiation, maybe
It might,
it'll work, probably
not, maybe.
And she refused to accept that. She went for what we call trimodality therapy. She said, okay, I'm going to have the chemo and radiation, but I am damn well going to have the surgery too. So she found herself a surgeon who would operate on her when most of them wouldn't think outside the box and didn't want to do that. And that is near and dear to my heart, because the way you cure cancers is a lot of cancers have in them things called cancer stem cells that are very resistant to chemo and radiation. They can kind of live through anything. They're like cockroaches in nuclear winter.
Okay, yeah, that explains it.
So the only way to get rid of them and make sure they don't rear their ugly heads 5 years in the future is take them out.
Okay.
So that's the kind of thing that the Dario Foundation is going to support. Thinking outside the box, thinking, okay, here's this kind of lung cancer in non-smokers, here's this kind for smokers. What can we do to help everybody? What different avenues do we need to take? How do we need to reconceive of all these diseases to make it better for everybody?
And you know that will get results of survivors.
Yes. And
That's
Karen is a survivor, unlike
Yes.
the first person that came into most people's consciousness for female lung cancer and non-smokers is Dana Reeve, right?
Exactly.
Silverman's wife. I think that was about 3 years before your diagnosis.
2006.
Okay, so only
That's
a
when
year or two
Bonnie.
before
That's
yours.
when Bonnie started
Triggered
the
Bonnie.
So the
foundation.
difference
Right.
between her and you, if you think about it a certain way, is you were a beneficiary of the first targeted biologic therapy.
Correct.
And here
she
you are,
wasn't.
12
And
years out.
Exactly. And
Yes.
that's what research leads
Okay.
to, stuff like that.
Boy, you have said it. And we're going to take another quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're back talking about Run Amuck with the Duck. And Karen, put the face of people we know in this community to those statistics about lung cancer that you have both shared with us. Tell us their stories.
I think it's really important for people to understand that it could be an aunt, an uncle, a brother, a cousin, a mother, but these are people that you will recognize their names. Diane Caridi was a 42-year-old mother of two. She was an absolutely lovely, wonderful young woman and passionate about this cause, and lost her battle 2 years into our event.
So I met her the first year I was here in town because she was receiving radiation with one of my colleagues.
Right.
And I have a special needs child. She has a special needs child. So here she is in serious medical trouble, getting treatment, smiling, making everybody happy every day, and passing me a million tips about the right schools, the right doctors for my special needs kids.
For Joey, yeah.
I think, where do people get the strength?
Oh, she was amazing. And as a matter of fact,
I stand in awe.
I took her
I do too.
I took her for a meeting. She wanted to speak. She was a guidance counselor, and she wanted to meet with the counselors, and she was coughing, and she didn't feel well. And she insisted that she wanted to go. So I took her, and of course it was as far across town as it could be, all the way on Waldo Road. But she was so thrilled to see everybody, and she had an appointment to go see Dr. Gordon, who was going to put her in the hospital that day. But first I had to take Diane home because she needed to fold the laundry and put all the kids' stuff away before she went to the hospital. And she did it. Yeah.
And she did it.
So there was Diane. And then for old timers in Gainesville, you know Sid Martin. Sid Martin's very young grandson, Jeremy Martin. Strapping, handsome young man who I believe was diagnosed in March and gone 6 months later.
I mean, it's incredible. The picture of health. You
Absolutely.
couldn't even think.
Absolutely. Rick Rose, who was
such
beloved,
a talented dancer,
professor
performer,
of theater.
And just a gracious gentleman who gave so much through his performance.
Yeah.
Gone.
Mel Rubin from the Department of Ophthalmology, beloved professor over there. Gone. But most recently and devastatingly is Sandy Solomon.
Yes.
Sandy Solomon, co-owner of Leonardo 706, very private person, but she was there at all the Run Amucks, and she ran. More power to her.
Yes,
she ran every day. And this year, for the first time, I will not have Sandy standing with me.
This is going to be
with
hard,
the survivors.
Karen.
It is, and I think all of your people.
Passing is so soon.
All your people that are paying attention to this show right now should come out.
I agree.
In memory of Sandy.
I agree.
Stand up for her and make
her
a difference.
Husband, who we all love, Steve Solomon, you know, part owner of 706. Mark will be there. They have been a part of this Run Amuck with the Duck since Sandy joined you.
They were
and they
supporters
still will.
before that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Even before her diagnosis. And it's incredible. She was helping. They were part of this, and then she's diagnosed with lung cancer. It's like what you're saying.
Yeah, my favorite part
can't
of my
soak
job
it
is
in.
I get to meet people like you, and I get to meet people
Like
like Sandy
Sandy.
and Diane. That's the best part of my job.
Yes. We will be there March 2nd for Sandy, for everyone you're speaking of, because we need to be.
Absolutely.
We are their voice now, just like you were the voices of everyone. And we're going to take another quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're back talking with Karen Gorenberg and Dr. Allison Groh. And Karen, tell me what's happening going forward. What is next?
One of the most exciting things, the Adario Foundation does so many things that are patient-focused, but they have now combined with several other foundations to create a lung registry. And they're asking people to submit tissue results, scans, and all of their pertinent data, blood studies, and they are combining them in one huge data bank so that researchers from all over the world can access that information. And they're calling it's big data, where you can go and get this information and pull it from all over the place and get a much grander picture of the various different kinds of lung cancer that you're dealing with. It's fabulous.
Because knowledge is power.
Knowledge
You have
is
told
power.
me that. Both of you have told me that. And education is how you gain that knowledge.
Educated people live longer.
And it's not just a big database of people with cancer, it's even separate lesions within the same person. Because the mainstay of your treatment, the thing that you've done so well with for so long, is one of our targeted biologic therapies. And that's kept your tumor down all this time, but you and I got to know each other better because you came to see me to get some CyberKnife treatment. You needed 2 spot welds in your lungs, and probably the reason you needed those is those little spots of tumor escaped from the targeted biologic therapy and weren't as well suppressed anymore as they started to grow. So that's where my type of weapons come in. But that database is going to have multiple different entries for the same person.
Exactly.
Different lesions, and that's important to understand too.
So that is pulling together all that knowledge and sharing it. And you mentioned, I know we'll be out of time, but new drugs that are on the horizon that give a lot of hope.
There have been more drugs and more protocols in the last 2 years than the previous 4 decades. It's incredible.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
And that does give hope. And that's part of the walk, too, to bring people together, to share
Knowledge.
this
Absolutely.
knowledge.
The sense of community that we try to create, I think, makes a tremendous difference in people's lives. I really do. So come to Run Amuck.
Yes, I am
With
going
the
to
duck.
come. I know. And Allison, you mentioned the CyberKnife, which I know that's a whole nother show, but I can see how positive that type of treatment for Karen and others is.
The longer people live, the more they end up at some point needing a spot weld from something like the CyberKnife. And people are living so much longer these days with these diagnoses. It's a beautiful thing.
It is. Because Karen, you're sitting across from me, 12 years survivor. We just all love you and hope that you've got many more years to lead us through Run Amuck with the duck.
And not to be too blunt, but you're going to die of something else.
Of
besides
something
lung
else.
cancer.
Amen.
Well,
Because you've got a good doctor right there.
and we need to know, I think it's very important to realize this is a community hospital
Yes.
where I am being cared for
Yes.
and
There's
treated.
no need for Gainesville people to go out of town because
No.
it's
We have
I've
the
got my
best of the
people
best.
here. I've got my people here.
The
and
best
it's
of
wonderful.
the best.
Yeah.
It is. We are very fortunate, this community, and to have both of you. Thank you very much. And I hope that I will see you at Run Amuck with the Duck on March 2nd. I'm so glad you tuned in, and I hope you'll join us next week. Take care.